Years and years ago, I talked about Unit 731 on my channel, although I can't remember the context. Somewhere deep in there is the video on it. So why would I be talking about it again? What is even the point? There's actually certain things I did not know. There are certain things I did not know regarding the outcome of what happened afterwards, which is why I wanted to talk about it again. Jamie, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah, I took a nap after work. And it's pretty typical for me if I take a rare daytime nap, because I worked early in the morning. It's actually relatively common for me to have sleep paralysis in that condition, and I did. But this is a highly abnormal sleep paralysis today, because I felt this oscillation going up and down my body as I was paralyzed. Normally during sleep paralysis, I feel completely stiff, still, unable to move. This was not like that. This was different. I felt this electrical surge go up from my feet to my stomach, to my chest, and it kept going back and forth and back and forth. But it always seemed to end up concentrating around my stomach. Very strange. And when this started happening, I tried to leave my body. I tried really hard to leave my body. And I was trying to, I sensed my soul trying to break through my chest at first, and it wasn't working. And then I tried to break through my brain area here. I felt like I was climbing out, like I was trying to climb out so hard, and I got so close. But the joke's on me, guys, because it was unsuccessful. Which is a shame, because it's been a long time since I've had a legitimate out-of-body experience. A very, very long time. And I documented the ones I have on this channel in great detail. Some of them are extraordinary. Unfortunately, the majority of them are very basic, and I barely, even if I were to leave the body, I wouldn't leave the room, or there wouldn't be much going on. And in this case, I couldn't even leave the body at all. To me, it kind of is like a punishment, because it's a tremendous relief every time I do. Or if I'm in a profoundly deep dream state, it's a tremendous sense of relief, like a giant weight that comes off my shoulders, and I finally feel like a tiny semblance of freedom. Tiny semblance. And then, of course, you come to, and you're in the same kind of oppressive, shackled condition internally again, in the meat suit, the disgusting, painful meat suit. Of course, you could argue the body is a beautiful thing. Sure, you can. I don't particularly have that opinion that it is. It's extremely hard to maintain it. It's extremely easy to break. There's no real defenses against anything. We're very fragile. There's all kinds of things about it that I don't really see as beneficial to our quote-unquote evolution, if that's even what's going on here. Probably not. Hello from San Francisco. Not sure how long I can hang out here, but I'm stumbled upon this channel tonight. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much, and I love San Francisco. Great city. Was there a few months ago. I talk about out-of-body experiences. I share my dreams on here. I'm a near-death experiencer. I've been on many podcasts. I talk about esoteric things here. I don't really have a limit. The community here is extremely expansive in terms of what mind is, in terms of what spirit is, in terms of what eternity is. We have different opinions, but I think we're all striving for the same sort of knowledge, because we know there's more to life than the common secular opinion that we're some cosmic accident farted out of a singularity to exist for an infinitesimal small amount of time and disappear again. However, eternity doesn't give it much more meaning either, to be honest. But whatever, I'm getting off topic. You're learning how to lucid dream in OBE. Well, if you go back to deep into my archives, I've shared some really extraordinary out-of-body experiences you can check out. But like I said in the beginning of the video, it's rare now. I haven't really even been dreaming. The last profound dreams I've had were actually of Donald Trump. 3 of them, actually. 3 of them related to Trump. One of the dreams was connected to the Keys of Solomon, as I found out later. Trump's connection to the Keys of Solomon, which is creepy as hell. And then I shared that the emojis that we use are in fact the Keys of Solomon. The Demons of Solomon are literally emojis. They parallel one another. But yeah, speaking of Trump, now that I brought him up, it's really fascinating, the absurdity that's going on with the Epstein files. I knew they would never release anything. I absolutely knew it, 100%. But the manner in which they're going about it is so ridiculous and obvious of a cover-up that even the most skeptical person can see right through their bullshit easily. And of course, Trump himself doesn't really like this idea of those files, but as I say many times in the community posts, it's just a dangling carrot. That's all any of this is. I shared this supposed alien craft that's in our solar system right now. Can anything be trusted? Any sort of imagery, any sort of video of any kind is very questionable now, because AI can't really be differentiated from real life anymore. There is this hoax going on about Yellowstone about to blow. And there's a bunch of TikTok videos being released of animals leaving Yellowstone, most of which turned out to be just AI videos. So whatever this object in the solar system is, in my opinion, is nothing but a dangling carrot. It means nothing. It means nothing, just like Oumuamua a few years back. They tell you it's going to mean something, just like iPad Go 2 tells you there'll be a conclusion that it's all going to mean something, but it never does, guys. It never does. It never will. It's been too long. It's been too long at this point for it to come to any sort of meaningful conclusion. And I feel really stupid for ever following any of this shit. I really regret it deeply, actually. And I kind of take it personally. I don't know why. But the Republican Party will end an Elon will bring in the technocracy party. Maybe. Yeah. The light language lady? Dangling carrot is spot on. Oh. I also take my time captured as feeling shameful about it. Now, I mean, it's... On the other hand, it's stupid to feel shameful. I mean, for what? Like, what kind of power do we have over this anyway? It's like, whatever, you know? Totally off topic, the title of the video, but who cares? Who cares? Not entirely off topic with the Epstein thing. You see, guys, a lot of people say this world is unjust, which is true. But actually, it's far beyond just unjust. There are far too many instances of there being some sort of protective mechanism over evil. And I know, like, even a few years back with, like Q, for example. Q, it's similar to this Epstein file stuff right now. Q is going to solve everything. Q is going to release all the names of all the perpetrators. Q is going to turn the government into a utopia. It's all a psyop for the purpose of protecting the evil. And we supposedly are sovereign beings who have power over this shit. Why does it feel like we don't have any? The migraines have been with me since 12 years into my 70s. Jamie, and talk about everything I like listening to. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. Well, so regarding Unit 731, if you don't know, it was the most hideous place that probably existed in the history of the human race. Yeah, Steve, Satan is king. It has to be. It has to be. Like, it just can't not be the case for there not to be a Satan. It just can't. I have to believe it at this point. And with all the numbers and the synchronicities, and I just shared an Uber ride I just did, and got $9.11 for it right before I did the live stream. And someone told me that because there's a dot, 9.11, that doesn't count. The dot doesn't count. It's not a 9/11 if there's a dot, guys. Out. Whoops. Sorry. I guess it doesn't count. But to be fair, most of the 9/11s and 666s that I do see don't have any dots or dashes or zeros in between them. They're just straight up 9/11s and 666s. I'm sorry that this one had a dot. I wish the Uber ride paid me $911. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, Unit 721 was a center for human experimentation when the Japanese occupied China. I actually did share a video in the community post about this. They opened up a biological weapons research facility. And they used people as experiments. They literally actually referred to them as logs. Now, these would be people who were prisoners. They would be randomly kidnapped. Just whoever. Ultimately, the place ended up being responsible for the deaths of 400,000 people because they released biological agents into the population for experimental purposes and deliberately infected people with things like bubonic plague and smallpox, and not smallpox, but other stuff, and watch how they reacted. But that's the easy stuff. That's the mild petty stuff they did. That was the nice things they did. Tiny details, devils in the details, egregores. Ooh, you don't know what it is? I'm sorry, Fan and Gaz. Oh, I'm gonna ruin your night now. If you don't know what Unit 731 is, I'm going to probably cause you not to sleep, so I apologize in advance. So anyway, and these experiments were conducted on people of all ages, from children to women, and they would do things such as do blood transfusions among people with blood types that don't match. They would freeze people and deliberately create frostbite and cut off limbs after the effect. They experimented with different types of weapons and the effects of those weapons, and then they conducted surgeries on the injured with no anesthesia. One of their favorite things they did was conducting vivisections. They would paralyze people but keep them wide awake without anesthesia, and they would conduct surgeries on them while they're fully conscious and awake. And I actually had a friend that had an experience like that, because anesthesia doesn't always work. And he said, and this guy is a tough guy. This guy is a Iraq War veteran, and that experience screwed his brain up more than anything that happened in war. Waking up during surgery. But yeah, things like that, and much, 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 much worse than that. Every kind of thing you can think of, all for the purposes of, seeing how these things affected humans. Like they would put people in pressure chambers until they exploded, or they would drain their blood dry, see how long they lived. They used grenades and flamethrowers and yeah. Guys, this is your race. Like, can you say you're proud to be human? I can't. Yeah, I know, like, this was in the past, but me and you both know, who watch my channel, there's no past. It's all happening now. It's always happened. It's part of God's beautiful story, the book of life, and this beautiful game. Yes, beautiful game. Anyway, yeah, that's still kind of like the more mild stuff that happened there. I'm not going to share anything else. I think you get the idea. But something like 10,000 prisoners were used in these experiments. And my point of this video, at least regarding this topic, is that the main doctor, or the main, guy who ran the place, his name was Shiro Ishii. He was arrested after World War II ended and put on trial. And in exchange for his testimony and what he found in his experience, he would receive full immunity from any prosecution. And he did just that. The guy never paid for his crimes at all, and neither did any of the guards which did testify. Actually, that's the only credible sources that we have, because when the Japanese lost World War II, they tried to burn all their findings and get rid of, because this was a secret facility. So, and he ended up living many more years. All the guards were just let go. No, isn't that fascinating? But you know what's the saddest part? Like, were the suffering of these people, was it at least, did they at least find something usable, some kind of usable information from all this misery? And the U.S. government concluded no, that it was all useless trash. So they let a guy go for the sake of getting information that he used from the experiments. And the information ended up being complete and total garbage and of no use whatsoever. Now, how can you tell me that that's not evil being protected? And yet, I know, to a degree, everyone has evil. Everyone has the potential for evil. I know that. We all do. That was proven by the Stanford prison experiments, unfortunately. How quickly people can be manipulated, how quickly they can be degraded and turn into something else. It's scary. You would think there would be some kind of, if this is like a programmed evolution of some kind, you would think there would be like stronger mechanisms internally to fight against that darkness. But it's not the case, because people can be molded to do anything, as proven by the tyrannical governments of ages past for eons and eons. They just following orders, and then not even including cults who just fall for some asshole who says whatever magical thing that they put the spell on the minds of people. It's just scary how easily people can be manipulated. And just following orders, right? Just following orders. How lovely. Anyway, Tin and Gaz, in my community post, I actually did share a long video where the very good YouTuber, he does discuss Unit 731 as part of a compilation video. You can see it in the community posts. But yeah, and actually, now that I mentioned Unit 731, I actually don't. I think Hitler escaped World War II. I'm not like 100% on it, but I have this strong feeling that he wasn't in that bunker, or something happened, and he was free after as well. But I don't know. Just my opinion, just speculation. But yeah. So in the site where Unit 731 is, it's a museum now in northern China. And that's actually an interesting paradigm in and of itself. That all these terrible places are just like museums now. Like I talked about, I was in Chichen Itza recently. You know, it's interesting how we turn bloody history into a tourist destination. That's just very strange, actually. Places like Auschwitz or whatever the case may be, same idea. It's like, that's kind of a cosmic joke in and of itself, actually. But I'm not necessarily sure. But I guess, you know, they're at least preserving the history of what happened so that future generations won't do the same. And we all know how that turns out. Yes, we do. Even though we're supposedly evolving. Thousands and thousands of years of bloodshed, but we're evolving, guys. We're evolving. In my opinion, technology is. Humans are not. I actually think technology is advancing scary fast and way too fast. And it's tough. It's tough internally knowing this stuff, guys. It's just horrendous. It's diabolical. It's horrendous, and not even just Unit 731, just World War II in and of itself. Like, people don't understand. Like, they see these documentaries about these glorious battles, and no, there's too little focus on the civilian suffering. The civilian suffering is where the real suffering was and is, just like it is in Gaza, just like it's been in Ukraine. That's where the heart of the suffering is, right? Like iPad 2 says, the heart of suffering. And last but not least, I think I'm going to be heading out pretty soon. It's okay. I don't know what it is either. What do you mean, Jamie? You don't know what is? Oh, you mean you don't know what Unit 731 is? Okay. Wow. I'm glad I made this video because you guys don't know what it is. Well, it's one of the worst places that ever existed. And guess what? One thing I forgot to mention. It was operational for 9 years. And people knew about it and they didn't stop them. Yeah. I mean, why would they? They're just following orders, right? Just following orders. Okay. Yeah. The next dangling carrot, guys, we have a big dangling carrot coming up in 2 years, but we all know how quickly time passes. Lightning speed will be there in no time. Solar eclipse like no other. This one is supposedly more impressive than the April 2024 one. Astonishing. 6 minutes and 23 seconds the eclipse will be occurring. 6 minutes, 23 seconds on the 2nd of August, 2027. Most visible in Egypt. Now, if I say that that's related to Pedgo 2, I would be a complete and total imbecile at this point. Complete and total imbecile. There's no possible way that cartoon will ever be solved. I don't care if just watch me, guys. I don't want to be sucked into another trap with this crap. So I'm just putting this on the record right now that I'm not. It doesn't matter what happens. To me, it's just going to be another dangling carrot. Another psychological operation of sorts. Wow. I've been rambling on for about half an hour now. All right, anybody want to say anything else? Or yeah, should be an interesting eclipse. Most visible mostly over Egypt and North Africa too. Fascinating stuff, right? It's diabolical. The story of this place is diabolical. It's terrible. It takes innocence and it crushes it to pieces. You know, like, yeah.